There's no magic bullet to why one gets elected or not, particularly when it comes to a lot of the nuances between districts. I mean, they're all different. But we know as a group, we are 12% of the legislature. The loyal opposition, the minority voice, the Republican voice, which in a democracy makes for accountability of all policies and all government. You know, all of you know I've been overseas and I've been in the Peace Corps with United Nations. And I've seen so many one-party governance models. I think the data is very clear that those models don't work, but we're edging up to that in Hawaii. And I think the people of Hawaii have to be concerned that when you get a one-party state, one or two people are going to say a few things and then everybody's going to follow. This is the small group that keeps policies with the other side of the story being set, keeps the issues with accountability set. And I think it's vital, and I'm really happy that all you guys are back here, because we have a role, a very serious role, of making sure that the people of Hawaii know that there's another side of the story on all the things that are sometimes coming out in the newspaper, sometimes coming out in the television. And it's not to say just knee-jerk vote for Republicans, but it's saying the role of democracy is accountability. And accountability, and I usually ask this, how many of you guys are married? You're married, does your husband keep you in check and your spouse keep you in balance? They say, yeah, for sure. And it's the same in the politics. You got to have the spousal relationship between the two major parties. We don't have that balance. So thank you for asking the question, but just because we're Republican is not magic that we get reelected. We got to work hard, we got to represent the people, and we got to make Hawaii the major purveyor of what is the benefit of what we do, not just some partisan issue. People are fed up with partisanship. I think they want better government, they want smarter government. Just do your job and get on with it. I don't care who gets the credit, just do your job. And that's why I'm here. I want to do my job.
Actually, when you're in the minority, as we are, you have to even work harder. And I think that fairly said we do. I think what you see sitting here, my colleagues here and our two that were unable to join us today, Representative Cheng and Representative Muramoto, they are all very intelligent, very dedicated public servants. They work incredibly hard, incredibly long hours, and they're in their community in a myriad of ways. A couple of the things I do that I enjoy so much, I take a legislative roadshow to the schools in my district, and we just have a wonderful time with the bright, energetic students. And I've recently started a program planting native trees in the schools, along with a learning package that goes with it, to talk about the significance of the native tree, the environmental aspects, and then the children in the schools tend to those trees and watch them grow as they grow. So just a myriad of different things, but I'm very proud to be able to serve with such wonderful people in our caucus. I think we have an outstanding caucus, and it includes Representative Cheng and Representative Muramoto, and it's an outstanding group.
Even though they're all women, you still say that.
Mostly women.
I'm the only
Mostly
man.
women.
That's right.
And maybe that makes for better government.
Cut that out of the script here.
Well, that is an important thing to bring up, I think, as well. It's just, you know, out of our members, we do have a majority, and not only a majority, but of the 6 of us, we have 5 women. And I think that that's a good point to bring up. Not to mention our Republican governor is a woman as well.
It makes your life at home much better. And he has 2 women at home, too.
I'm outvoted by the 2 women, my wife and my daughter. So I'm used to being picked on. We'll talk about the seat issue some other time.
I think the other, you know, it was very interesting. Maybe a couple weeks ago, I was in front of a classroom, or actually a grade of students, and they wanted to find out from me, you know, what is it about the Republican? Because we went over to the Democrat headquarters, we came over to the Republican headquarters. We want to find out about you. And you know, I started to share them about Republican philosophies and how we collectively are about personal responsibility, compassion as well, about teaching the fish instead of giving out fish. And it was very interesting as we were talking about that personal responsibility as well as the responsibility for others. They turned around and they said, "Oh, is that what you stand up for? Okay, I get it." And there were quite a few other students that wanted to learn more. And I think that that's indicative of the areas that we need to touch. We need to educate people more, not of what was the history of Republicans in Hawaii, but what are we going to do looking forward? What is our vision for the Republican Party looking forward? And a lot of it has to do with what are our values, and many of the people out there, the people of Hawaii, you out there, have very similar values, like the four of us sitting right in front of you.
Do you think that there's a misperception within the party?
Bingo,
and
bingo.
it's just not reaching the public?
The stereotype is, I drive a Jaguar, I drive a 1992 Volvo. The image is that we have all money, we have all the cares of the world taken care of because we're rich. That is a stereotype that has just been long-standing, and I think is so incorrect. None of you guys have Jaguars, right?
No.
No way. She's got a hybrid. I forget what you guys.
And
But
Lynn and I come from, poor immigrant Filipino families. My family worked on the plantation, and we're very involved in the movement when Governor Burns got elected, and because they wanted a government that was for the people. And now what you see is, with 90% being controlled, by a particular party, look at our education system. Look at how long it took us to start doing renewable energy where we weren't imprisoned by other countries. And it took Republicans coming along and, like Representative Thielen, still hammering, the notes away that this is better government, and I think we just need to do a better job explaining to the people of Hawaii of who we really are.
it's a big one.
And so we're going to work on that. We're going to do a good job in letting you know what we're all about.
One of the other huge things that our caucus came together and we said, we contribute a lot to where legislation is going. We stand up, we speak on the floor about what we believe in. And a lot of times you will see legislation move in a different direction because we have spoken up on the floor. And when you bring these things to light, whether or not they actually acknowledge that this was a Republican effort, when you bring these things to light, it affects how the Democrats make a decision. And transparency was a huge part of our package last year, talking about how we need to not only be transparent on the floor when people of Hawaii can't necessarily be there because they're at home taking care of kids or they're out working, but transparency needs to be the accessibility to this information when they need it. The ability to get this information, get the arguments, and be able to look into these different pieces of legislation and say, how is that going to affect us? And so for us, one of the things that we know that we need to improve upon is being able to bring that message out to the people so that they can be educated on the different sides. And I'm sure that at the end of the session or at the end of discussing different issues, that they'll see that they do have a lot in common with us Republicans sitting on the right side of the aisle.